brothers and sisters of Africa, distinguished delegates of the world, and citizens of conscience, wherever you may be. Today, history trembles once more beneath the feet of a continent that has too long been told to kneel. For decades, we have been lectured about free markets while living in chains of unequal exchange. We have been told that prosperity comes from partnership, yet partnership has meant plunder. We have been promised development, yet development has been written in the ledgers of others. Tonight, I come not to repeat the language of dependence, but to announce its end. Our nation, and with it the rising coalition of sovereign African states, declares the suspension of all foreign enterprises that drain our resources without reciprocity, exploit our labor without fairness, and treat our soil as a warehouse for profit rather than a homeland for people. This decision has shocked those who believed Africa would never speak in one voice. It has shaken those who mistook our patience for weakness, but it should surprise no one who has followed the rhythm of our awakening. The pulse of Africa has changed. The generation that once begged now builds. The youth that once waited now leads. Let me be clear. This is not a declaration of hostility. It is a declaration of honesty. We have looked into the balance sheets of our future and found them stained with inequality. We have studied the contracts written in foreign capitals and discovered the fine print of dependency. We have seen the hands that shake ours while reaching for our gold, our oil, our data, our land. We have seen enough. The time has come to rewrite the rules of engagement. We do not reject commerce, we reject exploitation. We do not fear cooperation, we fear corruption disguised as cooperation. From this day forward, every enterprise that wishes to operate on African soil must adhere to one principle above all: dignity before dividend. Some will ask why we have chosen such a drastic step. They will warn of economic backlash, of diplomatic chill, of markets unsettled. But what they call risk, we call renewal. For too long, we have been the testing ground of others' ambitions. Our minerals have fueled foreign industries while our children study by candlelight. Our fisheries have been emptied by foreign fleets while our farmers struggle to feed their villages. Our cities host towers of profit that rise over slums of poverty. The equation is unsustainable and unjust. We stand today to balance it, not through vengeance, but through vision, not through isolation, but through integrity. Let the world understand what this means in practice. Our decision is guided by 3 pillars. First, all partnerships will henceforth be transparent and subject to public review. No more secret contracts, no more offshore clauses. Second, revenue derived from African soil must invest in African people through technology transfer, fair wages, and social infrastructure. Third, every enterprise must prove that it sustains our environment rather than scars it. The earth of Africa is not for sale. It is for stewardship. To those corporations and governments who have built their empires on our compliance, we extend an open invitation. Rebuild your relationship with us on justice, or step aside. Africa will no longer subsidize the comfort of others at the cost of its own dignity. Some have already expressed disbelief that we would act with such boldness. They say, surely you need foreign investment to survive. To them I reply, we need fairness more than investment, pride more than profit, and sovereignty more than aid. Our continent possesses every ingredient of greatness: resources, youth, creativity, and willpower. What we lacked was unity of purpose. Tonight, we have found it. This decision was not born in anger, but in awakening. Across our borders, from the Sahel to the Cape, leaders have watched how global commerce treats Africa as a convenience, not a companion. When our people protest exploitation, we are told to wait. When our nations negotiate better terms, we are told to compromise. But compromise has brought us only crumbs, while others feast. No more. We are not closing our doors to the world. We are opening them to justice. We are not turning away partners. We are inviting real ones. The wealth of Africa will flow again, but it will flow through channels that nourish, not drain. Let the world's investors listen carefully. Africa is ready to trade, but not to be traded. Those who come with respect will find opportunity beyond measure. Those who come with manipulation will find the gates closed. We do not fear the silence of exploiters. We fear the silence of conscience. In our cities tonight, there are children who will sleep hungry beside warehouses filled with exported grain. There are miners who dig cobalt for the batteries that power the phones of the wealthy, yet cannot afford electricity themselves. There are workers who build garments for distant markets, yet own not a thread of security. How long can such absurdity continue? We have decided it shall continue no longer. Our continent is rising not against the world, but for itself. The order we declare today is not isolationist, it is emancipatory. We will trade with all who treat us as equals. We will cooperate with all who share our ethics. We will welcome investment that strengthens, not subjugates. And to those who attempt to threaten us with economic punishment, we remind them, Africa is not a client. It is a continent. You may boycott our goods, but you cannot boycott our spirit. You may withdraw your loans, but you cannot repossess our land. Let this address mark the birth of a new kind of global commerce, one measured not by profit margins alone, but by moral margins. The world has spoken for centuries about globalization. Now it must speak of equalization. We seek peace through parity, partnership through principle. And though our decision has startled the comfortable, it has inspired the courageous. Already other nations are joining this wave of renewal. Together, we are crafting a continental framework for ethical trade, a covenant that guarantees our people a fair share of the wealth they produce. The night of exploitation is ending, and the dawn of accountability has begun. When we look beyond our borders, we see that the imbalance we fight is not an African problem alone. It is a human problem, a system that rewards the few who manipulate markets while punishing the many who create real value. What began as our local stand must now become a global conversation about justice. We invite every region of the world that knows the taste of subordination to join us. Let Asia, Latin America, and the islands of the Pacific add their voices to this movement. Let us form a new economic alliance built not on domination but on dignity, not on extraction but on exchange. The wealth of the earth must serve those who live upon it, not those who merely own its paperwork. Our scientists, our engineers, our farmers, these are not secondary participants in the world economy. They are its beating heart. For too long they have labored under contracts that strip them of credit and ownership. From today forward, every innovation born on African soil will bear the names of its creators. Every patent will carry the imprint of the people, every export the signature of sovereignty. We do not wish to burn bridges. We wish to rebuild them on stronger foundations. But a bridge built on deceit collapses. The bridges of tomorrow must be built on truth. We therefore propose the establishment of a Continental Ethical Trade Council, an independent body that will certify all commercial activity on African soil. Its mandate will be simple: verify that no transaction violates human rights, no contract undermines labor dignity, and no profit poisons our environment. Those who meet these standards will find in Africa a partner of unmatched creativity and resource. Those who do not will find that the age of impunity has passed. There are those who say that moral economics is a dream for poets, not for policymakers. To them, I answer, it is the only policy that ensures survival. A world driven only by greed cannot endure. The storms of inequality will sink even the richest ships. We have chosen to steer by the compass of conscience, because all other instruments have led humanity toward peril. Our youth understand this truth instinctively. Across the continent they march, code, farm, and build with a new vision in their eyes. They no longer wish to flee abroad to serve strangers. They wish to stay and serve their own people. They are the generation of reclamation. To them I say, your courage has not been in vain. What you begin today will echo for centuries. When we declared the suspension of exploitative enterprises, the world's markets quivered for a moment. Stock tickers flashed red. Analysts debated. Headlines trembled with the word shock. But beneath that shock was recognition. Recognition that the moral geometry of the planet is changing, that continents once marginalized are now central. The shock was the sound of imbalance correcting itself. Already, new partners have reached out. Independent entrepreneurs from Asia, cooperatives from Latin America, and ethical investors from Europe and North America have written to us, not with demands, but with proposals for genuine collaboration. They see what many still deny, that fair trade is not a punishment but a promise. In the weeks to come, we will convene a summit of equal partners, governments, civil society, and business leaders, under a single question: how can we make prosperity just? This will not be another conference of rhetoric, but a workshop of resolve. The outcome will be a People's Charter of Fair Exchange, a living document that any nation may sign and enforce domestically. Its principles will be simple: transparency, accountability, and reciprocity. Africa does not wish to build walls. It wishes to raise standards. If others fear those standards, let them examine their conscience, not our courage. Let me speak plainly about sovereignty. Political independence without economic independence is illusion. A nation that votes freely but trades unfairly is still enslaved. We have voted, we have spoken, we have risen. Now we will trade as equals. In every era there comes a moment when silence becomes betrayal. For Africa, that moment arrived long ago, and tonight we choose to break the silence forever. We will not whisper our pain in the corridors of diplomacy. We will proclaim our purpose in the halls of humanity. This stand we take is not against any people or faith or region. It is against the principle of exploitation itself. No nation, no corporation, no ideology holds a monopoly on morality. The test of civilization is not who conquers, but who cooperates. Our message to the world's powerful economies is this: come with clean hands and open hearts, and you will find in Africa not resistance, but resonance. But come with greed and arrogance, and you will meet a continent awake, united, and unyielding. We have spent centuries exporting raw materials and importing poverty. That equation dies tonight. Henceforth, we export ideas, technology, and confidence. We import respect, partnership, and equality. The lights of our new economic order will not shine from foreign skyscrapers, but from the laboratories of Accra, the foundries of Addis, the farms of Bamako, and the classrooms of Kigali. Every watt of power that lights our cities will also illuminate our dignity, and to the people of the world who watch us with curiosity or doubt, know this: we seek not dominance, but balance. We do not wish to replace one empire with another. We wish to end the age of empires altogether. In the councils of global finance, let them record today's date, for it marks the moment when the periphery became the pulse, when the so-called developing world declared itself developed in spirit, principle, and will. My fellow Africans, history does not wait for the hesitant. It rewards those who move with courage. When our ancestors fought for independence, they were told it was impossible. When our engineers dreamt of launching satellites, they were told it was fantasy. When our youth demanded democracy, they were told it was premature. Yet each impossibility has become reality. This too shall. We shall build banks that lend without bondage, trade zones that respect the worker as much as the shareholder, universities that teach not imitation, but invention. We shall make policy not as puppets of foreign capitals, but as partners in human destiny. Let us end with the truth that burns brighter than any headline. Africa's strength is not in its minerals, but in its morality. Our wealth is not in gold, but in goodwill. The world is shocked not by our defiance, but by our determination to be decent in an indecent system. So, let this assembly rise and witness the continent once divided by the maps of colonizers now redraws the map of fairness. From this day forth, every negotiation will bear the stamp of equality, every contract the seal of conscience. The time of silent suffering is over. The time of sovereign cooperation begins. May this stand of ours light the path not only for Africa, but for all nations that still seek justice in the marketplace of mankind. And when future generations read of this night, let them say that in an age of profit without principle, one continent remembered its soul, and by remembering renewed the world.